column or a group of columns in the relational database, which is going to provide the linkage between two tables. Okay, so please try to remember that foreign key is used to link or to relate two tables. Okay, and it can be representing one column or a group of columns.
Sir, can we say that foreign key is always a primary key of some record?
Yes, yes. That's why you already, when you are describing about the primary key, so I told, no? So that is there any role of primary key? So
Yes, sir.
student ID or student roll number, that we are discuss about that two tables, that is a student table and the student course table. So student ID is the primary key. So obviously when we are forming the foreign key, so within that foreign key, at least one column must be the primary key of another table. Clear? So it is always going to refer to a primary key of another table. And we know that there is only one primary key in the table, but foreign key means more than one foreign key can be allowed within the table. And about the primary key, if we consider that there are unique records and not null records, but within the foreign key there can be duplicate values when we are going to link the tables. Okay, because when it is going to contain more than one column, then that another column other than primary key column, that it may contains the duplicate value. And similar thing about the null values, primary key is not going to represent a null value, but when we consider the foreign key, so foreign key, if it consists of more than one column, then it may contain the null values. Clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about the composite key. That what is the composite key? Just a minute, students. So students, as per the name, that composite key means more than one attribute is there. Okay, so this composite key is also going to form the primary key, or we can say the primary key with two or more attribute, it is called as a composite key. So as per the name, it is a combination of more than one attribute. Okay, so that it is known as an composite key. Understood? That what is a composite key? That it is a combination of two or more columns within that table, and it is used to identify the unique records or unique information. Clear?
Sir, what if they ask the difference between super and composite key?
Which key?
Super,
Composite.
super and composite.
Super key and composite key.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super key. Just I will tell you that super key, when we are going to use the super key, that super key means what? That when we are going to combine that particular any two attributes. Okay, but in case of composite key, we are going to make it as a primary key when the primary key is made up of one or two more than one column. Primary key is what? It is a unique. Clear? And
Yes.
it is not null. And when we have such a two columns, which the unique and the not null, and we have to combine them, to identify the particular record. Like if we consider the order details, when we place the order on the Flipkart or the Amazon, then order ID and the product ID is going to form the composite key, and it is used as an primary key to identify the customer record or the quantity placed within that particular order. So that is the difference between the composite key and the super key. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Within super key, when we consider the super key, that it is just a combination of one or more attributes. Okay, but that is not exactly like a primary key.
Okay. Means super. It is not necessary that with the help of super key we can act it like a primary key. But in case of
No, because it is super key is going to support the null values.
Okay. Okay. Done.
Understood?
And composite.
The candidate key is a super key, but vice versa is not true.
Hmm.
Clear? Clear with the concept?
Yes, sir.
Null values are allowed within the super key. In composite key, null values are not allowed because they are these composite keys are used as a primary key to identify the unique records.
Done, sir.
Okay. Now, any another doubt within this? Because we have covered all the keys: super key, candidate key, primary key, foreign key, and composite key. Any another doubt within this? So again, I am telling you that what is a super key? Super key is a combination of more than one column, and actually this column is called as an attribute in terms of DBMS. Table is called as an record in terms of DBMS. So whenever you are using any reference book or any website or any video, then they are using as an attribute keyword for the column head. Column head means student number is a column head, so it is known as an attribute. And table name, that is a student record, so that is a that table is called as a record, not a table. Okay, understood? So please remember this thing, that super key is a combination of more than one attribute. And candidate key. So as we have discussed, that candidate key is what? So can anyone remember what we have discussed about the candidate key?
Yes, sir. It is a candidate key is a super key, and
Yes.
it can't be null.
Yes, correct. Okay. So next one is the primary key. As all of we know the primary key and the foreign key most. Primary key not null, unique, and it is only one within the table. Only one within the table. Foreign key. Foreign key can be consist of more than one attribute, means it is a combination of more than one attribute, but at least one attribute is the primary key of another table. That is the concept here about the foreign key. Clear? And if it is a combination of more than one attribute, then it can going to support the null values also. Okay. Next, about the composite key. Composite key is used to form the primary key. The primary key which is having more than one attribute, more than one column, like order ID and the product ID. Combiningly going to form the one primary key, that is called as an composite key. And what is the feature of primary key? It is not null and it is unique. Clear? So that is the concept of super key, candidate key, primary key, foreign key, and composite key. Understood? Any doubt, students?
No, sir.
Okay. So next we will discuss about the functional dependency. Okay. So just wait a minute. So student, please observe that image now. If you observe, there is a student table with the large details like student ID, then name, then credits, then department name, building and room number. When we have such a large schema, then it is going to generate a certain kind of anomalies. Okay. So what kind of that anomalies? That is the insertion, deletion and updation anomalies are there. So before that, we will understand what is a functional dependency. Functional dependency means what? If we say that X going to give the Y, means Y is depend upon X. Okay. For example, that student ID is given and we are able to find out the name. So X is what? It is a student ID and we are going to find out the name. So with the help of student ID, we are going to find out the name. So it is called as a functional dependency. Clear? Now, what is the problem with this functional dependency? If we have the last schema and how we are going to deal with these functional dependency problems, that is the next concept of normalization. That is, if you remember 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, then BCNF and all that things. So before the normalization, you must know about the functional dependency and what is the problem with that functional dependency. So that there is a concept of normalization. Okay. So if you observe here, these two records are different. Roll number 1 and 2 records are different with the student number and the student name. But if you observe detail, this detail, that is department number, building number and room number. That is department name is same. When department name is CSE, building is B1 and room number is 101. So suppose I am going to add the new record 7 and suppose I am going to add the new student name ABC here with the credit suppose 8 and same CSE department. So I have to repeat this information 101. So now it is a small table, but when there is a large schema, large table, then in that case I have to repeat this again and again. So it is called an insertion anomaly. Okay, it is called as an insertion anomaly. So similarly, there is an updation anomaly. That if there is an improper query, that suppose there is a room number 101, that change the room number of building B1, change the room number of building B1. So it is going to change the room number of every record wherever that B1 is appearing. Okay, and if you want to specifically change the room number for any particular student, then it is a difficult one that we have to write down the subquery and all other complex operation. So it is a preferred that we are going to normalize these tables with the help of different normalizations. Okay, so it is about the insertion anomaly, then about the updation anomaly and the deletion anomaly. That how we are going to delete the record. Okay, if we want to delete a record of a particular building, then it is going to affect the other records also. If we add the new building, then also it is going to affect the other records also. Suppose we have added a building number 3. So which department is running within that building number 3, that also we have to provide. And then which students are approaching towards that building number 3, that also we have to provide. And in which room number. All this information we have to provide. Means we have to update the little bit information only, but with the to provide that information or to add that information or to update that information, we have to update the entire record. We have to update the entire schema. That is the concept of functional dependency here. And this functional dependency, there is a need to reduce this functional dependency with the help of normalization concept, with the concept of normalization. And if, the concept of functional dependency is written like this: if that x, that is suppose t1 dot x is equals to t2 dot x, then T1 dot Y is equals to T2 dot Y. Means if there are two different tables and if you are comparing one particular value, one from one particular record, okay, then the other column values are also same. So I just explain you with the help of example now. Just wait a minute. I just fetch the example now. Just wait a minute. Okay, student, listen carefully now. I'm just telling you with the help of example now that how it is going to execute that this operation, that whatever I written here, that T1 dot X is equals to T2 dot X. If it is true, then only we are going to check the next one. Okay. So suppose X value is here the department name. It is a department name. Okay, and this T1 means the one tuple and T2 means the one another tuple, means the record. If we consider this is the T1 and this is the T2, suppose. Okay, so here within the T1, if you observe within this T1, the department name is what? CSE, correct? And T2 tuple department name is what? CSE, means that is equal, that is true. When it is true, then we have to check for the next column, that is for the Y, and Y is suppose building. Okay, so what we have to check at T1 dot Y, T1 dot Y, that is T1 dot Y, that is a building, it is a B1 here. So T2 dot Y, it is also B1 here, means that is true, means this dependency is true, that is correct. If it is B2 here, then it is not functionally dependent. They are not dependent on each other. Okay. Understood what is a functional dependency now? Clear? Any doubt within this? What is the functional dependency? Because when you understand the functional dependency, then only you are able to understand the next concept of normalization. That functional dependency is not only for the for one particular attribute, that it can be a combination of more than one attribute. Like as I told you that this X is only a department name. If I consider that department name and building, okay, so these are the X now, means these two attributes are going to form the X. So if X of this tuple T1 is equals to the X of this tuple T2, that is here also CSE B1, here also CSE B1, it is true. Then we have to check the room number. If room number is appearing same, that is 101, 101, then they are functionally dependent. If here it is 102, then they are not functionally dependent. Understood? That is the concept of functional dependency. So there, you know the type of functional dependency. Anyone can tell me the types of functional dependency? No one remembers about the functional dependency? Trivial, non-trivial, multi-valued, anything? Anyone remember? A trivial dependency, non-trivial dependency, multi-valued dependency. Any one of you? Functional dependency means what? When we have to fetch the information and if it is depend upon the another information, means to fetch that information we must have certain with us, then only we are able to extract that information. This is the case of functional dependency. And suppose if I want to find out the address of any particular student, then I must have the roll number of that student. From the roll number I can find out the address. Clear? And if I want to find out the address and I have only provided with the roll number, but no one told me that what is the branch of that particular roll number or what is the semester of that roll number, then how I am going to identify? Then I am going to search for the mobile number of that student. So the mobile number and the ID, that is the roll number, with these two formation, or we can say the composite key, I form the primary key and then I am going to find out the address. It is easy to find out me the address because phone number is unique. Then say another one combination is the roll number is the unique for particular class. Now roll number is not unique within the complete depth star, but phone number is the unique. So I form the composite key to find out that information. This is called as a functional dependency. So there are certain types of functional dependency: trivial functional dependency, non-trivial, and multi-valued dependency. So as I told you the example of this roll number and the phone number, so I use the more than one value. So it is called as a multi-valued functional dependency. We will also discuss the trivial functional dependency. Just a minute. So student, in case of trivial functional dependency, I just write it down here. When we write down this condition, that is x produce, we can say there is a functional dependency with the y. Okay, so within this, that y must be the subset of x in case of trivial functional dependency. Like I told you that student number and student phone number I consider, and I am going to produce two things, that I am going to obtain two things, that is a student phone number and the student address and student address. Okay, so these two things I am going to obtain. So it is what? It is x and it is y. So y is what? Here the phone number is also appearing. So it is a subset of x. Clear? So that is the case of trivial functional dependency. And non-trivial, that it is not a subset. In case of non-trivial, it is not a subset. Clear? Understood what is trivial functional dependency and what is non-trivial functional dependency? Students, any doubt within this?
No.
Functional dependency means what? Please try to understand that when you have to find out any record, and if we to find out that record, we must have something with us. So that is called as a functional dependency. In the so that due to this dependency, there is a certain problem, or we can say certain anomalies are going to occur, which is called as an insertion anomaly, deletion anomaly, and updation anomaly. So to avoid these anomalies, we have to reduce this schema, last schema. We have to reduce this last schema, which is called as a concept of normalization. Okay, so that we are discussing this functional dependency first before the concept of normalization. We will discuss the normalization within the next session, but here you have to understand this functional dependency. Once you understand the functional dependency, you can see the any video of normalization, you are going to understand it very easily. If you don't know the functional dependency and the keys, then you are not going to understand the normalization. Clear? So anyone remembers what is normalization? I just tell you the basic about the normalization. Normalization means what? Eliminating the duplicate values or the redundancy within the database or within the table or from the record. You have to eliminate the redundancy from the table, redundant data from the table or inconsistent data from the table. And you have to make it as a perfect one for the use. Nowadays, it is also called as a pre-processing, the kind of pre-processing. It is called as it is also the type of normalization. Okay, that we are going to remove the blank spaces. Blank places may be replaced by the null values. All these kind of the normalizations are there. So anyone knows the types of normalization?
First normal form, second normal form, third normal form.
Okay, so anyone knows the difference between them? Actually, it requires time. We have to take one more session for that.
Sir, is there a means? Did we record it at the previous meeting?
Previous meeting, yes, it is recorded.
Okay, sir.
About in previous session we discussed about the joins,
Okay.
so it is recorded. So any another concept you require to clear out on the DBMS? Students? Hello.